Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. My aim is to show you that the key to a happier and more positive mind is to love the life you have. We will look at tips and tools you can use to improve your mindset, and the best thing is, we'll all be on this journey together. Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. Now, before I go any further, please excuse any shouting you may hear in the background. The boys are on half term at the moment, and their favourite pastime is to play on their computer games and scream down their microphones at their friends. I do apologise if you hear any shouting in the background. They're not shouting at each other, they're just shouting at their friends. Okay, this month, as you know, we have been focusing on gratitude. So far, we have looked at the science behind gratitude and what it does to our brains. We've looked at some quick and easy gratitude practices you can do every day. We have also looked at gratitude and manifesting. Just in case you're not aware, the reason why we're looking at gratitude this month is because in November, we're going to be doing the magic. If you don't know what the magic is a book by the author Rhonda Byrne, and it's a 28-day gratitude process where each day you will take part in little gratitude practices, and there's about 3 or 4 pages to read. Each day will probably take you anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes, depending on the practice for that day. And the point of doing this is to get you into the habit of regularly practicing gratitude, like being in the habit of having a gratitude mindset. The reason why it's a good idea to do it together with other people is because 28 days, although it doesn't sound it, is actually quite a long time to commit to doing every single day without fail. So it's really good for accountability. It's really good to share our wins with each other. And it's just good to know that other people know what you're going through. So yeah, if you're interested in joining me doing the magic in November, head over to my Facebook group, The Magic November 2024. But I will pop the link down below so as you can find it easily. As you can imagine, I've been thinking a lot lately about the times that I have done the magic. I think I've done it 3 or 4 times now. And I can honestly say that the thing that it's changed the most for me is how I can see people from a different perspective. There are quite a few practices in the book that focus on relationships, whether that's good relationships or past relationships, bad relationships, but it really helps you change your perspective on what you think about people. It helps you to move on. It helps you to let go of resentment. So today, I just want to just focus a little bit more on how gratitude can help with different relationships. It can help us improve different relationships in our lives. So it can help us improve our everyday relationships. So whether that is with your friends, with your children, with your partner, with neighbours, like it's really easy to get annoyed by people. Because if everybody made us happy all the time, then the world would be a very boring place. We'd all have the same personalities. We'd all have the same traits. We'd all be perfect. And let's just face it, the world is just not like that. So by using gratitude to help our relationship with other people, we can identify the little things that people do for us that might get forgotten about or might not get noticed. So like the easiest example I can think of is if your partner leaves their underwear on the floor, they don't put their washing, they're in the basket, they don't pick their clothes up, they don't tidy up after themselves. Like, we hear it a lot, we moan about it a lot. I certainly experience it a lot. But rather than focus on those little things that do piss you off, focus on the things they do for you, the things they do provide you. So did they cook dinner for you, or did they clear up the kitchen for you? Do they provide you with emotional support? And when was the last time you actually thanked them for that? Because those little things that we often expect of people, they go unnoticed. And that leads to that person feeling unappreciated. If we think of it the other way around, like if we do things that go unnoticed, we think, why the fuck do I bother doing that every single day, every single week? Why do I bother? Because you don't get that thanks, you don't get that appreciation. So if rather than focusing on the annoying things they do, Focus on the amazing things they do and thank them for it. This can really help strengthen those relationships and make people feel noticed. And there was one day last week when, I'm not going to say which one, but one of my boys had really pissed me off because I'd asked them to tidy their bedrooms in the day, and I went in and there's clothes still all over the floor. There's cans in the bedroom. If you've got teenage boys, you know what I mean. If you've got teenage girls, you probably know what I mean as well. But I don't know what girls are like because I haven't got any. Actually, thinking back to what I was like, I was probably a bit like that as well. But anyway, rather than being annoyed about that, well, I actually was really annoyed about that. But then I left his bedroom, went into my room, and he'd put my heated blanket on for me. And I'd been talking earlier on that day about how cold I was, how I couldn't wait to get into bed. But he also knows that I don't like it too hot. So he put my heated blanket on for me on medium without me even asking him to do that. How thoughtful is that? And it just made me think, I am so lucky to have such thoughtful boys. Yes, they might do things to piss me off. Yes, they're not perfect, but who is perfect? So I made a point of going in and saying, thank you so much for doing that. That was so kind of you. And he was really proud of himself. And that's the thing, when you do lovely things and it goes unnoticed, you're just not fussed on doing it again. You're not necessarily going to go out of your way to do it again. But if it is noticed and you're thanked for it and someone actually really, really, really appreciates it, then of course you're going to do it again. So yeah, it's really difficult sometimes, but if we can flip when we're annoyed with somebody, try and find something that they have done. One of the practices in the magic focuses on people you've got difficult relationships with. And this can be an absolutely life-changing practice. And for me, I think about a friendship that had ended. And it had ended in quite an abrupt way. And I held a lot of resentment to this person. I held on to, for quite a long time, I held on to some really negative feelings towards this person. Really negative feelings. And when I did this practice, what this practice gets you to do is, I don't want to say too much because obviously you're going to be doing the magic, hopefully anyway, but it gets you to remember the good things that person did bring into your life. And I was able to list so many lovely, fun things that this person brought to my life, the way they changed my life. So even though that friendship ended up really sour, rather than feeling the feelings of the really negative feelings I feel towards this person, it kind of balanced it out, if that makes sense. I feel neutral towards this person now. I don't want to be their friend anymore. I would never want to be their friend again. I don't hold those feelings of hate, of anger, of disappointment. It helps you to get to a place of, okay, this person was brought into my life for this reason. They've now served that purpose, and whatever has happened, and let's move on. It also helps you because you're looking at the things they did bring to you. You're looking at them in a different way to what you maybe have done up until now. So you then start to realise that this person, if they've wronged you, they might have been coming from a place of their own insecurities. They've had their own difficulties in their life that have led to them doing the things that have disappointed you, which does make those feelings a lot easier to manage. If you can look back and think, okay, I don't like what you did, but actually I can see that you did that because you had that difficulty earlier on in your life. Okay, it just helps you put things into, helps you see things from a different perspective. So if you have got, who hasn't? If you've got relationships, friendships that have ended badly and you still hold resentment towards that person, you might not realise that you want to let it go yet, but by doing this practice, you do naturally start to to let it go, because all those feelings that you were holding on to before, the feelings of hate, the feelings of anger, the feelings of disappointment, they are low on the frequency scale. So when you feel those feelings, you are vibrating low. When you can turn that around and come from a place of love, come from a place of understanding, come from a place of empathy, then you are vibrating at a much higher frequency. And when you are feeling those higher frequency feelings and emotions, then that is what you'll get back in return in a different form, but that's what you get back. So it is really good if you can. It is really good to let go of those lower vibration feelings, because the more they keep coming back to you, the more of that you will get back in different forms. So again, I know we're going back to like how the law of attraction, law of vibration works here, but this all works together. Gratitude, law of attraction, law of vibration, manifesting, they all work together. How about how gratitude can help improve your working relationships and help improve your overall job satisfaction? When was the last time you thanked your colleagues, your peers, your boss, or people who work with you, your clients? Really acknowledge what they've done for you. By showing our colleagues, by showing the people who work with us more gratitude, we can strengthen those relationships and make those people feel good about themselves. A bit like what I was saying earlier about noticing the little things that people do for you and thanking them, like going out of your way to thank them. Like this works in the workplace as well. Like making a point of personally thanking a colleague who's helped you in a project, or helped you in a client, or provided some useful insight into something you're working on. Like often these things go unnoticed because it's just their job. Again, we've all felt like that. Like just because it's somebody's job doesn't mean they don't deserve a thank you for it. Something lovely you could do to make a colleague or a client feel amazing is to send them a personalized message thanking them for whatever they've done for you, the tiny things they've done for you, the big things they've done for you, the milestones they've reached. Like think of the impact that these little gestures have on those relationships, on the team, on the bond between the two of you. And this also goes for yourself as well. So if you struggle with imposter syndrome, if you are constantly doubting your abilities, if you go into a meeting thinking no one's going to like my ideas, if you think, well, so-and-so is going to be better at that project than me, if you struggle with these internal thoughts of self-doubt of who are you to be achieving that, to be doing that, you can help yourself to shift your own mindset by journaling on the things that you have achieved and what you've done to achieve it. Because we often forget what we've been through. We often forget what we've done to get where we are. All those hours you spent on the research you've done for a job, all the hours you've spent training for something, all the small wins that have led to the bigger milestone achievements. Like this little shift from self-doubt, like even if you feel that self-doubt, taking time to recognize yourself and appreciate the things you've done to get where you are can help to boost your confidence, to help you to perform better in your role because you've got that self-confidence, and maybe lead to better or other opportunities. Hopefully you can see how using gratitude can really help strengthen the relationships around you, whether it's relationships, close relationships, whether it's general day-to-day relationships, or the relationship with yourself. Okay, now last week I mentioned that it was going to be my last self-confidence boosting session of the year. Now, unfortunately, there were things going on last week that really drained my energy, and I didn't have much energy to promote this last session. Therefore, I didn't have many people booked onto it. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, so I'm not necessarily upset by that. The people who were booked on have been more than happy to rearrange, and I'm sure it will work out for them as well. Like I say, everything always works out. I truly believe. So whilst it felt shit at the time, having to contact these people to rearrange, I know it's going to work out for the good. So with that in mind, the date that we've now rearranged it for is the 30th of November. So if you couldn't do any of the previous dates that we'd had planned, because I know there were a few people who couldn't do the dates and wanted to join in on the session, then maybe you can join me on the 30th. Please do let me know. Please feel free to drop me an email, lisa@lisadavidge.co.uk, and let me know, and I can send you the details for it. But as you know, I absolutely love these sessions. They're an hour-long session, which entails a little bit of journaling, a little bit of reflection work. We go into a meditation, we do some Reiki for the solar plexus, which boosts your confidence. So if you feel like you could do with a little boost of confidence, whether that is at work, whether that is in your general day-to-day life, driving, going out in public on your own, self-confidence in relationships, self-confidence in yourself, like your decisions. These sessions are amazing just to give you that little boost to get to the next step. So I hope to see you 30th of November, and it will be in the afternoon UK time. I've had people from the East Coast joining me for these sessions, so I always like to make sure that it's sort of afternoon here, so as then anybody on the East Coast can join me as well. A little bit more difficult if you're further away. Please come over and join me on Instagram, in my Facebook group. All of my handles are down below. And what else did I want to say? Please do share this episode. Don't forget to like and review if you liked it. If you didn't, then don't worry. Anyway, it's time for me to go. I will see you next time on Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. Have an amazing week, whatever you're doing, and I shall speak to you soon. Lots of love. Bye.